Seriously, though, Tom Hardy.
I was never a big fan of his, to be honest, until Venom.
I think I really started to appreciate him in Lawless.
I never saw that, so...
That movie hurts your heart just a little bit. It's, 1920s Prohibition. It's intense.
What was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and the bear?
Titanic. Wait, what?
No. Don't you call Rose Tyler a bear? What's wrong with you?
I thought there was a bear in that movie. Oh, my bad. That's what they hit, right? They hit a bear.
It's not Revenant. What is it called?
Actually, it is. I think it is Revenant.
Yes, it is. That's it. The Revenant.
Is it The Revenant? I was thinking the Apex Legend. That's why I got thrown off. I was like, ooh.
No.
Wait, why are we talking about The Revenant?
Because Tom Hardy's in that.
Oh, does he play the bear?
Tom Hardy plays the bear in The Revenant.
He plays the bear.
Here first, folks.
Hello, friends. This is Carrie White, and you are listening to Tales to Inspire.
Blinded by snow and deceit, high up in the Alps, Dr. Fusion and Geiger Gwen have infiltrated a top-secret Nazi base. What they at first believed to be some sort of nuclear research station has turned out to be something totally different. Just what is that strange rocket at the center of the station's operations? Why are machines based off of Dr. Fusion's research hooked up to it? And just who is in charge of this operation?
As we open up this issue of Tales to Inspire, we see the snow-capped mountains, a crystal clear, serene lake, and a concrete building hovering over all of it on the cliffside. And then the top left corner, we see in the little yellow box, it says, "A remote location in the Alps, July 1943. And then in the next panel, we are inside that secret facility with all these tubes and conduits and machines and scientists that all seem to be working around this rocket that is placed in the middle of the facility. And there's this glowing energy core in the middle of its exposed chassis that's been just kind of peeled open, and all these tubes and stuff are going into it. And you two, Geiger Gwen and Dr. Fusion, are tucked into this kind of dark, shadowy corner down on the base level. And there are all these scaffolding rings that go up around this rocket, and there's people working on all of these scaffolds. But yes, Dr. Fusion, you recognized a lot of these machines and equipment as derivatives of what you came up with at the University of Oregon, with the accident that gave you your powers. Dr. Fusion, what are you doing?
I'm just looking at different pieces, and my brow just furrows more and more over the next few moments. This is my work.
There's a panel of Geiger Gwen just kind of sinking into the shadows, and you see her eyes are just wide, and she's having like a mini panic attack. She's hyperventilating a little bit, and she's breathing really hard, and she's just staring at everything.
Like she's having flashbacks to the accident that gave her powers? Exactly.
There might even be a flashback panel, but it's not necessarily of the equipment, it's of Tiny Tim and his Tommy gun.
Ooh, yeah. I think we have like panels of you like sinking into the darkness, your eyes wide, and then the next panel is of the muzzle end of his Tommy gun flaring with light. And then we have another panel of you in the darkness panting, and then another panel of like the explosion that surrounded your body, and you see the shadowy outline of your body as it's pulled apart by this explosion. As you're reliving that traumatic moment.
Well, Doc, your reach is far.
I will not have my work bastardized.
Well, we came here to do a job. Let's get it done.
Yes, let's.
We don't have any bombs, so you're the tech genius. What do we do?
I can probably rig something, but we'll need to be far away when it goes off.
Can we at least time it to give us a little bit of time to get away? Countdown?
I can see what I can do.
I'll try to give you as much time as I can.
Okay.
In whatever direction he goes in to try to start that, I will go in the opposite to try and deter.
Perfect. Yeah, we have the panel of the two of you walking out either side. And then as we turn the page, who are we following on the next page?
I think you see some scientist in a lab coat walking down around some things, and then suddenly an arm reaches out and grabs him and pulls him away into the darkness. And then you see Dr. Fusion walking out, no goggles, just kind of wearing a lab coat over his stuff, just kind of walking out into the lab and starting to look at different like readouts on meters and stuff like that.
Definitely. So are you looking for clues or answers?
I would like to do that, yes. I would like to search for how this got here, perhaps?
Okay. So you can, of course, roll and investigate. Nope, that city you've missed. You can, of course, roll and examine. However, you have a move linked to your origin book, The Accident, and it's titled Looking for Answers. When you look for answers to the questions you have about that fateful day, in order to learn more about what happened to you or your feelings about it, ask a question about it and roll plus investigate. On a 10 plus, the EIC will give you a clear and detailed answer to your question, and you take a +1 forward to acting on the information. On a 7 through 9, the EIC will answer your question, but the information may be confusing, alarming, or suggesting a hard choice. So,
okay.
I guess my question to you is, what's the purpose here? Is it to figure out what happened to you on that day, or is it to figure out more about this facility?
My specific question is, what does this have to do with the explosion at my lab?
Okay, then this definitely sounds like your origin book move, looking for answers. Go ahead and roll plus investigate.
Oh, beautiful. 10 plus 2 is 12.
Nice.
A 12. So I will give you a clear and detailed answer to your question, and you will take a +1 forward to acting on this information. Okay, so you are walking around this facility. You're walking around the scaffolding, walking up the steps. You're looking at these different workstations, these huge conduits and lines coming off of that center of the rocket, being funneled into different places, and you're walking and you're seeing blueprints and machines, and you realize all of these machines were designed by you. So what does this facility have to do with what happened to you on that day? You remember, you flash back to that day. The attendant running up to you and saying there was something wrong with the readings. And you getting down there and realizing someone must have sabotaged your experiment. Somebody must have slipped in and done something wrong. And suddenly, I don't want to say it clicks, but suddenly it dawns on you that somebody did sabotage your experiment. And the reason they sabotaged it is so that they could shut it down and replicate it here.
Okay.
Whether that means you were always working for the U.S. government, or you were working for somebody else, or somebody just sabotaged the experiment to replicate it on their own, you're not sure. But now you know that what happened to you on that day, even if the effects of it that still affect you were unintentional, the sabotage mission was intentional.
Okay. Great.
Okay. And you get a +1 forward, so whenever you act on those answers, however you choose to do so, you'll get a +1.
All right.
All right. And then we turn to the next page after Dr. Fusion has that realization. Geiger Gwen, what are you doing?
Geiger Gwen is keeping to the shadows and trying to sneak her way towards the hub of scientists and guards, like a locker room or what's it where they eat food. What's the word I'm looking for?
A mess hall?
Yeah, there we go. But something within the same vicinity, but on the opposite side of where Dr. Fusion is.
Okay. And what is your purpose for this?
I'm trying to keep attention on me versus him.
Okay, so you are going to try to draw attention to you.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's very easy for you to find like a mess hall of like scientists and guards that are like in this area in this project. And I think you just, no one expects an American superhero to just be strolling through their top secret project.
Okay, so what I'd like to do then, if I'm in a mess hall or where they're eating food, there might be a couple people, whatever. I'm gonna try and phase behind to where the food is, and grab like a spoonful of whatever mash, whatever is there. I'm gonna start a food fight.
Okay.
I'm gonna just fling it across the room, and then I'm gonna immediately kind of try to fade back. Just see what happens.
Okay, so you're trying to sneakily start a food fight.
Yep.
Let's roll a sneak around. Roll plus maneuver.
Drowning Nazis to food fights.
Oh, that's a 14.
Incredible. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you described it, you like spoon up some just thick, viscous food stuff, and you just fling it at the most important looking scientist in this room that you can find, and it just smacks them full on the side of their pasty white face. It just slowly drips down, and when he looks over, you're just gone. You phased into a wall, or you duck behind the counter, whatever, and he sees like this group of guards, like the jock table over near where it came from, and he says, "You Neanderthals, always picking fights." And then he turns and grabs an apple, and he flings it at the soldiers. And then I think the next panel has Geiger Gwen, like, confined where she is, and just, like, over her head, we see, like, food stuff flying back and forth behind her in the mess hall.
That was easier than anticipated.
And we turn the page back to Dr. Fusion in the experiment area.
Okay. I would like to try to, before I start anything, I would like to try to find some information on who's in charge here, where did they, like, how did this get to be here and who brought it here.
Perfect. That sounds like an examine. So go ahead and roll plus investigate.
That's what I'm good at. That would be a 10. 8 plus 2.
10. All right, so you get to ask me 3 questions from that list. What happened here recently? What is about to happen? What danger should I be on the lookout for? What here is useful or important? Who's really in control here? And what here is not what it appears to be?
Okay. What is about to happen? As in, like, what is the purpose?
Okay, so what is the purpose? Like, what is about to happen here? Okay. So as you're walking around, you see all these lines coming off of the rocket, and you follow some of them to, like, this workbench area, and you see that, like, there's these canisters attached to the conduits, and they're, like, unhooking them from the conduits and, like, storing them. So they're harvesting this energy from the rocket. And also, at this workbench, you see just piles of blueprints. And you look at them, and you see all these experimental weapons. You see a tank that is 1,000 tons. Immensely huge. You see a bomber named the America bomber that has long-range bombing capabilities. You see a railgun of immense size that can shoot targets more than 100 miles away. You see all of these weapons that in no way can possibly exist. You have 2 more questions.
What here is useful or important?
What here is useful or important? I mean, it has to be these canisters of this strange energy. The care they are taking with storing it, the vast amounts of it that they have harvested so far, that has to be the center of their operation. That's why they're doing this, is to harvest this energy.
And who is really in control here?
Who is really in control here?
Me. It's me.
It's me. It's Geiger Gwen. Oh, I know it. I got it. This is a good one, and I'm gonna say it now. So you see, you see like this important military official walk out. You see all the badges on his chest. You see his hat is tucked up under his arm as he's walking. And he's strolling across, and obviously this military personnel is in charge of this. And right next to him is this imposing figure of a man in a tuxedo, not a tuxedo suit, but in a very nice suit. He is huge and muscular with a shaved head, and you see them talking to each other. The German military man says, "What you have supplied us with will afford us the victory we need in this war." And Theodore the Tussler Tuskman says, "Anything I can do to be of service."
Oh boy.
Oh boy. You hurt my heart.
Do I recognize him?
Well, okay, that's a good question. You would not know him as like a criminal by any means, but would Dr. Fusion have watched any boxing matches? Because he was a huge heavyweight boxing champion, and he was kind of the Cinderella story. You know, he came from rags, climbed his way up, and won. It's very inspirational for the Great Depression era to see this man go from rags to kind of like the champion of a people. So if you kept up with sports at all, you might recognize his picture from the papers. But I mean, that's up to you.
I feel like I feel like I wouldn't really know much of anything about him. Boxing is not in Dr. Fusion's wheelhouse, but I think he would definitely read the paper, probably thoroughly through the paper, so he probably would have seen him on at least a news heading or something.
Sure. So you have a passing knowledge, and one is just, that's an American.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm having heart palpitations. I don't know how to handle this right now.
I wish this was a stream show sometimes, just because the visceral reaction that Kristie had to me saying Theodore Tussler-Tuskman's name.
It was a dagger to the heart. As soon as you started describing him, I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
No.
Damn it.
No. Yep. Okay.
No,
wow. Okay. So that's what I figured out. Cool. Could I attempt to... Is there anyone around, actively looking at any of these blueprints or anything like that?
Definitely. You see them, making modifications and saying, the energy source will go here, and it will fuel the entire battery. And they're, drawing and making modifications to this as they go.
Could I roll something to attempt to, memorize this blueprint?
Ooh, that's interesting. Let's play with this idea a little bit. Minor radioactivity, X-ray imaging is based off of radiation. So maybe you literally burn an image of this into your brain that you can recall later using radiation.
Gosh, that's brutal. I like it.
Is that too much of a stretch? I mean, we are making a comic book show here.
It sounds legit. I don't know what you're talking about.
Cool.
Legit.
Yeah.
No, I kind of like that.
Scientists say it checks out. All right, we can do it.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do it. I like that idea.
All right. Yeah, I like it. Let's roll for it. So go ahead and roll a push. And when you push your powers and concentrate to do something that is not on your power profile, first determine if the power falls under simple, difficult, or borderline. So Occam, what do you think this will fall under? Simple, difficult, or borderline?
I feel like it's at least difficult, because I feel like it would actually be probably painful. Actually painful.
Yeah, I agree with that. Looking at your difficult powers, you have your short circuit electronics with the touch, fire a short range burst of electricity. So yeah, it sounds like your difficult powers are more applied uses of your radiation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that works out. So it's difficult. So that means now you're just going to roll. No additions, just roll.
Yes. Okay. 9.
A 9. Okay. So, on a 7 through 9, you can do it, but the effort will exhaust you. You're going to take 2 stress because this was difficult. And you cannot add this power to your power profile. But just for posterity's sake, go ahead and put it down in possible.
Okay.
Because your possible powers are ideas for future powers you could have. So now we have this categorized and we can be oh yeah, we tried to do this once. Let's try to make it a full-time power. Okay, so you're going to take 2 stress. What are you at now? What's your stress sitting at?
5.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That hurt a lot. I did it, but it hurt.
Yeah. Okay, so what that means is you have 5 stress. You cannot take more than 5 stress. So anytime you would be forced to take another stress, when you have 5, you instead have to take a condition. And of course,
okay.
once you mark all your conditions, you're done. There's actually a move called I think it's just called Death's Door, that we will explore if you get all your conditions filled. But yeah, that hurt. But you literally have a X-ray image of this thing etched into your brain.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Ow.
Like, what reaction do we see from Leslie as he does this?
I think he's, like, glancing over, like, somebody's, like, around the table, but he's, like, glancing over at this blueprint and just, like, focuses really hard, and then, like, a drip of blood flows out of his nose, and he just starts to have a headache and just, like, ugh, just covers his face and starts to back away.
And as you back away, you bump into somebody and you turn around and you come face to face with Theodore Tuskman. And he looks at you and he sees the blood dribbling out of your nose. And he reaches up a big fist. And he takes a handkerchief out of his pocket and offers it to you.
Danke. And he takes it and wipes his nose. And says in German, I apologize. I think I hit my head earlier.
Theodore looks over at the military commander that's standing next to him. And the military commander says in English, which you understand, he says it will not happen again. And Theodore nods. Excellent. I think it's time we got out of here anyways. We turn the page. Back in the mess hall, we see these Nazi soldiers and scientists just covered with food stuff.
Yes.
Kristie, what is Geiger Gwen doing?
Well, she caused a little bit of a ruckus, so she was trying to ease her way back out of it to head back towards where Dr. Fusion was so she could help in any way possible.
Okay. So, are you being sneaky about it?
Yeah, I'm not trying to draw any attention to myself because, well, let's be honest, she's going to draw attention because she's a good-looking gal.
Yeah. All right, let's roll a sneak around. Roll plus maneuver.
My goodness gracious, okay. Oh my gosh. 6?
Yes, excellent.
He says as he's twiddling his fingers like, yes.
Oh boy.
This is delicious. Do you want to burn a bond to step it up?
No, I'm going to take it.
Okay. So we see a shot of Geiger Gwen like phasing through a wall from the mess hall back onto that catwalk. And you take a few steps and then you freeze and look up. Standing a few feet away from you, you see Tiny Tim.
No, he's not there. I thought it was just his dad. Oh, no.
And you freeze, and he looks over at you, and his brow furrows, and then his eyes go wide. Gwen?
Tiny, what the hell are you doing here?
What the hell are you doing here? And what are you wearing? And we like have a cutaway shot of you like in this dripping wet, skin tight wetsuit.
Oh yeah.
That is no longer any of your business. What the... Why? And there's just a panel of her, like, shaking. And just, she will not look away from him.
Baby, where have you been for the last 2 years?
Don't you dare call me baby.
And he frowns. What'd you say to me?
She takes 2 steps back.
You stepped out on our business. You left me high and dry.
That was your business.
It was our business, Gwen. We were working on it together. We were climbing the ranks together.
I had no choice. I had no choice in the matter. You never gave me a choice. I did it to make you and Boss happy. That is it.
You always had a choice, Gwen. And you stuck around. And he takes a step forward. Because you enjoyed it.
Solitary tear down her cheek. Screw you, Tiny. And I'm gonna phase to go through the catwalk that I'm on.
Dope! Yeah, we just... You fall through the grating, and he looks after you, and he runs off screaming, Dad! Dad! And he's just running along the catwalk.
Daddy's boy. And then she just takes off running towards Doc.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the mid-roll section of Season 1, Episode 8 of Tales to Inspire. I'm your host, David White. And before we get back to this action-packed episode, we have some housekeeping things to go over. But let's just take a moment to talk about how fun is this episode. These are great episodes. Episode 7, Episode 8. These were really fun to record. Occam and Kristie are really great role players, and throwing them into this situation together was a ton of fun. And speaking of all that, the fun, Occam, Kristie, all that, be sure to stick around after the credits. If you are familiar with our show Misconceptions, at the end of every kind of story arc, we had a geek out during the credits. It was actually a move in the City of Mist rules, but I loved it so much that I decided to go ahead and carry it over to Tales to Inspire. I'm sorry it took us 8 episodes before we had our first geek out, but be sure to stick around to hear us talk about out-of-character stuff, goals, thoughts, what went on behind the scenes of this episode. Just a good time. Be sure to stick around after the end roll credits for that after session wrap-up. Hey, you might not know this. I mean, I'm sure you do. I talk about it every show notes section, but we have a Patreon. Our Patreon goes towards paying for our music, our ambiance, and most importantly, it goes towards paying the awesome players like Occam, like Kristie, for the amazing work they do every episode. Unfortunately, as is the case with Patreon-supported shows, we have fallen below one of our goals. We have fallen below our $400 a month goal. At that goal, I am able to pay our performers consistently $5 an hour that we spend recording. Unfortunately, right now we've fallen below the $400 month goal. I am still paying our players, but without the sustainability of $400 a month, I do not know how long I can continue to do that. So, I would like to request that if you like our show, if you enjoy what we do here, please consider giving to our Patreon. We really, really want to continue paying our players and creating this great content for you all. We have goals beyond just paying $5 an hour. Really, what I would love to do is I have a goal in mind to raise that $5 an hour to $15 an hour that we spend recording, to make our, to really pay people for the amount of time they put into each recording session. So, if you're a fan of the show, I want to challenge you. Just give $1 a month on our Patreon. But $1 a month, that seems stupid, David. Why would we do that? Well, if everybody that listens to our show gave $1 a month, we would be able to meet our $400 a month goal easily. So, it's weird asking you to pay $1 for the show that is definitely 100% free, but if you gave $1, that would make a big difference in the grand scheme of things over here at the Misconceptions Podcast Network. So, I'll reiterate, please consider giving to our Patreon so we can continue to pay the awesome performers on this network for the work that they do. And we also have a store. If you don't want to give monetarily every month, you can also go to our store, misconceptionspod.com/shop. We have some really cool stuff, and just between you and me, there's some cool Tales to Inspire merch that is in the pipeline. I'll let you know more about that in the future. But if you want to go support our show, you could also go to misconceptionspod.com/shop and you could buy some of our merch, and that goes towards supporting us and supporting our network, and it makes me feel so good inside. Well, that's all for the show notes this time. I'm going to get you back to this episode lickety-split. Let's have some more fun Alpine action.
Dr. Fusion, back to you. The Tuskman has walked off by now, and his Nazi sycophant is following after him.
Sycophant? Sorry.
Sycophant. Okay. I would like to start messing around with, like, looking at the different devices and trying to find something where I can cause it to slowly, just like a gradual increase in pressure on something, and set it like to increase over the next, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Definitely. Okay. This sounds like a use environment. Okay. So when you use something from the environment to suit your purposes, the EIC will tell you one or more. And I'm going to say it's dangerous.
Yeah.
What you're doing is going to have catastrophic consequences. And I think what you do is, when no one's looking, is you unhook two of those containers, and you take the two open ends of the conduits and you like fit it together to make a feedback loop of this energy.
I like it.
So it's like draining, but also like it's going back into that power source.
Yeah.
And already you feel the coils start to get hot, and you see like the grooves start to glow just ever so brightly as this energy is building up.
Okay. I'm gonna put that down. Look around for Gwen if I can see her. Can I see you right now?
I'm no longer trying to be stealthy. I'm just sprinting in the direction I feel like he was in. Doc, it's time to go!
And I like this idea. You are not on the same level. You are a level down.
Okay.
He's a level up. And you hear her screaming, Doc, it's time to go. And I think we see a panel of her like sprinting along the catwalk, but she's like phasing through people as she's running.
Yes.
Like she's just phasing through the scientists. And as she's screaming, Doc, you hear somebody screaming in English, Dad! And you look over and you see just kind of a wisp of a man. Just lanky, slick-backed hair, scratchy beard on his chin, running up the steps to the landing you're on, and you see Tuskman walking towards him.
Okay.
And the next panel is Tuskman standing at the top of the stairs. What the hell's the matter with you, boy? What's wrong? And Tiny Tim is at the bottom of the stairs panting. She's here! Gwen! And Tuskman's eyes go wide. What? Next panel. What are y'all doing?
Dr. Fusion is gonna see where she's yelling. I'd like to snatch one of the canisters of whatever they're using. Just grab one and then jump off the catwalk and use my power glove to just grab onto something and just slide down.
Okay. Let's roll a seize control. Let's roll with maneuver.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. +1. Oh, you two have been doing well tonight. Come on. Don't fail me now. Okay, so that's going to be an 8.
Okay.
Okay. So you choose one. You seize control over what was contested, but your opponent attacks you in retaliation. You immediately enter into a combat exchange. Or you seize control over what was contested, but the effort exhausts you. mark a condition. Which of those do you choose?
Oh, God. I'm gonna go for the I get attacked one.
You get attacked? Okay, so it's going to go immediately into a combat exchange. And I think you said you wanted something to grab onto and slide down?
Yeah, I was like gonna jump at a pillar and just like slam my power glove into it and just like grind my way down.
I'm going to do you one better, my dude. You jump and you grab hold of the rocket and you're sliding down that rocket.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have the canister, this glowing canister in one hand, your power glove grinding along this metal. And as you're making this raucous noise, we see like the onomatopoeia scream as you're grinding down. And Tuskman looks over and sees you, and then sees Gwen rushing through these people, shouting, Doc, Doc, it's time to go. And we enter into a combat exchange.
I'm scared. I have 5 stress.
I'm so nervous.
Okay, since there's more than one combatant, I actually wrote down what I did. So, what are y'all doing?
Defend and maneuver.
Okay.
Evade and observe.
Evade and observe. Okay. So, the Nazi personnel and Tiny Tim chose to advance and attack, and Theodore Tuskman chose to evade and observe. So, defend and maneuver. That's you, Geiger Gwen.
Alright, let's see. Come on, baby. 9.
9. Alright, you get to choose one. What do you choose?
I'm gonna do defend. So I'm gonna be defending Dr. Fusion.
Okay. And how are you going to defend them? Just describe it for us narratively.
So as he's sliding down, as soon as he hits the bottom, that's when Gwen catches up with him, and she kind of just body shields him for a second between the only 2 people that she's worried about, Tiny and Theodore.
Okay. And then over to advance and attack. The Nazi personnel are going to pressure Dr. Fusion, since he has the canister. They're going to pressure you that you cannot advance and attack next combat exchange.
Fine.
So as you're grinding down, they grab their weapons and they are all shouting in German. We see all these word bubbles. Halt! Stop! Drop it! And they're all cocking their weapons, pointing it at you. And then Tiny Tim is going to go with advance and attack. He pulls out his Tommy gun, and he's going to choose to smash. He is going to mark 1 stress to destroy or destabilize something in the environment, possibly inflicting or overcoming a fictionally appropriate positive or negative status. So, he takes out his Tommy gun and he just sprays all these bullets in your direction, but he is such a bad shot. He misses you, but his bullets hit like the conduits and machines all around you, and you are impaired, Geiger Gwen. You are slowed or off balance. You have to mark 1 stress or take a -2 to all physical actions.
I'll do a stress.
What are you at?
Only 2 stress so far, actually.
Oh, good.
I'm good.
And then over to evade and observe, Geiger Gwen. That's you.
No, that's me.
No, I did defend and maneuver. That's... Yeah, Dr.
Oh, you're so right. Yeah, it's Dr. Fusion.
Okay. Oh, heck yeah. That's a 10.
Nice. So choose 2.
Okay, I'm going to catch my breath and clear a stress.
Nice.
So I just take a moment to steel myself for what's going on. And then I'm going to bolster Geiger Gwen.
Okay. So I guess you're going to give her a positive status. So what are you going to bolster her with?
I would like to give her empowered.
How would you empower her?
So hear me out on this.
Okay.
I would like to... I'm like kind of bent down, just breathing. And I would like to like reach out and touch her on the elbow and just like zap her with a bit of radiation. Just a short little like static electricity, and then just say, "Give him hell."
Interesting.
There's just this little square of her being like, "Got it, Doc."
Okay, so can you do this with your current powers?
I guess it's not a thing. So yeah, let me just make it.
Well, no. Let's do it. I like it because I think it's you're interacting. I mean, you're using your powers in a new way we haven't seen before. So also, in addition to this, I want you to roll a push.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to say this one probably falls under difficult as well.
Oh, yes, thank you. I forgot to mention that.
Ooh. That's a 10.
A 10. All right. So,
yes.
You are not going to take stress for this. And you get to add it to your power profile under difficult.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. How would you list this power? What would you say it is?
Radioactive energy boost.
Something like that. Yeah, it's. I think I'm gonna call it power surge. And I just I can touch someone and like a bit of radioactivity just like gives them an oomph.
Okay. And I definitely think that makes sense with the empowered status that you're giving Geiger Gwen in this moment. So Geiger Gwen, what that means is at the end of every combat exchange, you get to... Let me go see where it is. You get to clear one stress at the end of each combat exchange. And this is the end of a combat exchange.
Nice.
Oh, wait. No, it's not, because... Tuskman has gone yet.
Still.
Oh, no. Okay. I'll wait.
So, Tuskman is doing evade and observe. He is going to seize a position. So as you give her that burst of energy, you're standing there at the bottom, and then you just hear a heavy thud. And you look up and you see that the Tuskman has jumped from that second-story scaffolding and landed right in front of you. And he stands up and he unbuttons his suit jacket and lets it fall to the side, and he starts rolling up his sleeves.
Oh boy.
Gwendolyn.
Boss.
I never thought I would see you again. Sure as hell didn't think I would see you in the Alps.
Well, we all get disappointed.
Do you remember the cost for leaving the family?
You were never my family.
Watch that tone, girl.
The only one that gets to talk down to me nowadays is Doc.
Dr. Fusion standing behind you like, huh?
Yeah, like, what? What are you talking about?
Me? What do you mean, me?
What about me? What is it? What?
Yeah. So he seizes the position in front of you, blocking your exit. And that's the end of a combat exchange. So now, Geiger Gwen, you can clear stress. And then that's the end of a combat exchange. Do we enter into a new combat exchange, or what do y'all try to do? You have dozens of guards up above you. Tiny Tim is firing his Tommy gun willy-nilly, and Theodore the Tusker Tuskman, heavyweight boxing champion of the United States, and apparently criminal organization leader, is standing right in front of you.
It's a lot smarter than I originally anticipated.
And right after this combat exchange, we have a panel of those two conduits that Dr. Fusion stuck together, and the grooves are starting to glow a little brighter.
I don't see anything we can do other than combat.
All right, let's go into a combat exchange. And I'll just remind you that the Nazi soldiers were pressuring you last combat exchange, and you cannot choose the advance and attack option.
Dr. Fusion can't, right?
I cannot. Correct.
Ooh, you're right. That is true.
Yes.
Because I'm going to do advance and attack.
Okay.
I'm going to evade him and observe again.
She's gonna take it to her old boss. This is such a cool
I'm not gonna
scene.
lie, she is pissed.
It's gonna be good.
Okay. All three of them chose to advance an attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay. It goes straight to advance an attack, and that means Geiger Gwen is
Oh
going
my
first.
gosh. I have, for any combat move, because I'm angry, it's -2. And my
really?
my smash is -1, so that's -3.
Oh man.
Bad.
I mean,
good.
narratively speaking, it makes sense, but the player in me is like, I should have taken that back.
Well, hold on. You have angry marked, which gives you a -2 to evade and observe.
Oh, so that doesn't add on to my smash, which is -1?
Correct. So you're good to that.
No. So I guess really we should have been applying it to the evade and observe move you're doing.
Yeah.
But afraid gives you a -2 to
Okay,
advance an attack.
alright, that makes sense. Okay, so -1 then only. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Shit.
No.
That's a 3. But I'm gonna burn a bond. I apologize in advance, Occam.
We're gonna hate each other so much more after this.
I'm gonna look at Dr. Fusion, say, I don't like saying I'm sorry. Elbow him in the face before I go towards Theodore.
Okay. So you burn that bond, step that bond up by 1. What is your bond at with Dr. Fusion now?
Let's see here. Once I add this, it'll be 4 out of 6.
So 4 out of 6. Okay, so getting closer and closer to having that bond clock full, which will mean some sort of fallout.
Yeah, boy.
But since you burn that, you have a 7 through 9. So which do you choose?
I'm gonna strike.
Okay, so you're gonna strike. Do you want to mark a stress to force him to take 2 stress or inflict a condition?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm just going straight at him, bar brawl style, because Gwen is not happy. So she just does a roundhouse punch that he doesn't see coming because he is not expecting her to just go for it.
Yeah, definitely. So are you marking a condition? Are you making him mark a condition or mark 2 stress?
I want him to mark a condition.
Okay. So you run at him. What do you do? Describe it for us.
It's me. I'm assuming in my mind I'm seeing he's a boxer. He knows what's going to happen. So as I'm running up to him, he goes to preemptively strike me. I slide under it, Black Widow style, uppercut him in the jaw.
Nice. Yeah, collides with his chin. Beautiful. Well, then I'm going to say Tuskman goes next. So you uppercut him, boom, right there in the jaw, just a solid punch. And he comes back, dances, puts his fists up, and he feints at you with 1 punch, and then he comes for your side with the other. And he is going to strike you, and he's going to mark a stress to make you mark a condition.
Did he roll for that? Do you roll for that?
So he does not. So NPCs, they get to choose like one of the things. But as they like take more damage, especially if they're like important NPCs, they can take more than one.
Okay, so she's definitely marking afraid.
Yeah, you uppercut and then you feel just the full power of a heavyweight boxing champion slam into your side.
There's the slow motion panel of her getting punched and a tear going down her face.
Ooh, so sad. Okay, let's say Tiny Tim goes next, because he also chose advance and attack. And he is going to... I'm sorry to do it to you. He's also going to strike you, Geiger Gwen.
It makes sense.
But he is not going to mark a stress. So you get to choose. Do you take 2 stress? Do you lose an advantage? Or do you take a condition?
I'm going to take 2 stress.
Okay. Step up your stress by 2. He lets loose with those bullets. They are flying all around you as you try to dance out of the way of his daddy's fists. And then the Nazi personnel are going to pressure Dr. Fusion, and Dr. Fusion cannot choose to evade and observe next combat exchange.
How dare you?
So they start firing all around you, trying to block you off. But Dr. Fusion, it's your turn. What do you do? Or what do you do? You're doing evade and observe.
I still
Go ahead
get
and roll.
for this turn. Ooh, that's a 9.
A 9, so you get to choose one.
I would like to hinder the Nazi personnel.
Okay.
I want to go up and power up my fusion fist and just punch a support beam, and it's gonna just cause all of the railing and stuff in the room to just start like shaking and rumbling, which will kind of put them off guard, so that'll impair them. It'll make them off balance.
Impair. I was thinking that it might be stunned. You're caught off guard. You can't act or respond for a few seconds until you steady yourself.
That works too. Yeah, we'll stun them. That sounds good.
Okay.
That basically means that they have one turn where they don't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so you slam your fist into that. The vibrations go up the floors. The end of a combat exchange. Geiger Gwen, you are still empowered, so step back your stress by 1.
Nice.
And then in the next panel, we see those 2 connected conduits glowing a little brighter. And we see actually some red working into the tinge of blue along the metal. And Tuskman has his fists up. He's dancing around, surprisingly light on his feet for how immense he is. You shouldn't have left us. If you had stayed with us, you would have had a good life, Gwendolyn.
If I would have stayed, I would have died.
You're gonna die here right now.
At least it would be my choice.
Can I do something other than combat for a second?
Yeah, that's what this time is for.
I punched the support beam. I'd like to burst over to the wall we came in from and start punching it, trying to break it open so water starts flowing into the room.
Ooh.
I like it.
Oh my.
I like it.
Okay, let's roll. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I think this is a take a risk. So go ahead and roll plus smash.
Cool. +1. That's an 8.
An 8. All right. So you do it, but you do it imperfectly. The EIC tells you how your approach might lead to unexpected consequences. Accept those consequences or mark 1 stress. All right. So you're trying to break open this wall. Water is going to come gushing into this plant. Okay. So you're going to break this open. This wall of water is going to rush in. There is all this electronic and nuclear equipment all around you. So as this water rushes in, everybody is going to take a doomed status, which means you're going to mark 1 stress every few seconds or action scene until you free yourself. Or you can choose to take 1 stress to somehow not make that happen.
We just gotta get out in time.
That's fair.
If everybody's doomed, we're all doomed. We're all doomed.
Yes.
You're all doomed. All right, so you break that open, and that water rushes in, like I said. This freezing cold water spraying against your chest, your lower body, your extremities, freezing cold. And as it hits all this electrical and machine equipment, we just see bursts of fire and static and electricity as just we see this place start to go to hell in a handbasket real quick. So everybody now has the doom status. Well, I guess everybody down on the floor. That makes the most sense. So Tiny Tim is up on the scaffolding. Those Nazi personnel are on the top. So until the water gets up to them, they will not be doomed.
Okay.
Okay, so Dr. Fusion, Geiger Gwen, and Tuskman all have doomed.
So as this is all happening right now, Geiger Gwen would like to pull her little pistol and just hold it on Theodore and be like, what you don't understand is I know what a family is supposed to be now. And she's slowly backing towards where Dr. Fusion is.
You gotta understand, Gwen. You do not get to walk away from this family. You can be carried away, you can be carried out, but you cannot just walk away.
I do what I want now, and I'm going to grab Dr. Fusion and try to phase out.
Okay, and I'll say that during that exchange, you all take 1 stress.
Yep.
Sure.
And then you grab Dr. Fusion and jump out into the water?
Yep, we phase through the cold water again.
Okay, you phase out. And so I think we have the scene of you phasing through that, and then we see your 2 heads bob up on the crystal serene lake. What do y'all do? Oh, and then we have a panel of those 2 conduit lines glowing even brighter. We see cracks start to appear in the metal pipes.
Gwen just kind of holds onto him and just keeps swimming towards the shore.
Maybe we can get to the snowmobiles.
Move quick, Doc. Move quick.
Yep. We're gonna swim like parallel to the facility and try to get up to the side of it where maybe some snowmobiles or something are parked.
Definitely. I think you come up and you see one of those toaster snowmobiles.
So as he's jumping on the thing and we're trying to get out of there, I'm going to reach around him to try and take control of the snowcat so we can get out of there.
I love it. And so we have you just peeling off in the snow. And we have a distant panel of you coming up, kind of where you came up previously and like scouted out the area when you first arrived. And we have this beautiful depiction of the lake, of the facility. And as you come up on this rise, you both turn around and you see the facility explode. A fiery blast of blue energy and orange flames and dust and debris just plumes up into the air.
There's a little panel of Gwen just looking at the explosion going, I know it's not your fault. I don't mean to blame you.
You just see Dr. Fusion lift up the canister. Well, we got this. Maybe it will help.
And then in the next panel, Geiger Gwen eases that snowmobile away. And we turn the page. You are coming into like this little cove, and the deep sea dame in all her American national pride glory is sitting there in the water. And the staff is there, waiting for you. The ramp is lowered. And as you're loading on, the captain of the vessel says, was it a success?
Dr. Fusion looks at him immediately and just goes, paper, now.
Sure, of course. And he turns around and a cabin boy runs up with all this loose leaf paper.
He spreads it out like haphazardly and just starts scribbling that blueprint all over it.
Geiger Gwen is just kind of, she turned around and looked back to where they were, just along the horizon, and she's just got a blank look on her face, and she's slightly shaking. Just standing there.
As you are standing there and as you have dropped down and you're sketching this out, the captain says, we really should get on the Dame. We need to get back to Tunisia. The invasion of Sicily was a failure. Doesn't sound like All of your hero buddies made it out.
What? What do you mean?
I'm just telling you what I heard on the horn. But we should get going.
Gwen sprints onto the boat.
And as the ramp closes on the deep sea dame and it slowly submerges and starts speedily going across the Mediterranean Sea back to Tunisia, that is where we will end this episode.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Tales to Inspire. We'll be back with our next episode on October 3rd.
If you have social media, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. Like and follow us at Misconceptions Pod for up-to-date information about the show, behind-the-scenes pictures, and just to show us your general positive feelings about the show. We also have a Discord. You can click the link below to join our Discord so that you can chat with other friends of the show and chat with other cast members directly. We also have an email. If you would like to contact us that way, you can email us at misconceptionspod@gmail.com. This show is fully supported by the generous monthly donations of our patrons on Patreon. If you would like to join that elite group of supporters and gain access to exclusive content, please consider joining our Patreon. The Tales to Inspire theme song was composed by Esteban Del Pino. You can find out more about his music on fiverr.com/IAM_WAKE. Geiger Gwen was played by Kristie Scheidemantel, who can be found at Polish Kristie on Twitter. Dr. Fusion was played by Occam Razor, who can be found at Occam Soccam Robo on Twitter. And I'm David White, your editor-in-chief. You can find me at Mr. Banana Socks on Twitter.
The role-playing game system used in this production was a modified version of the Worlds in Peril role-playing game by Sam Joko Publishing,
featuring elements from the Avatar Legends role-playing game and Masks, a New Generation role-playing game, both by Magpie Games. Tales to Inspire is a product of the Misconceptions Podcast Network. Find out more about our other shows and buy cool merch at misconceptionspod.com. And that's it for this week's episode of Tales to Inspire. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it nerdy, y'all. So do not stop recording, because what we're going to do now,
the end of session stuff, right?
Yeah, is we're going to do our end of session. So, fans of Misconceptions, this would be what you would call the geek out after the season. Nope, geek out. What is it called? Geek out during the credits. I made this show for 4 freaking years, 92 episodes, and I can't remember the name of the move. But anyways, this will be a post-session discussion, out of character, just talking about what we liked, what we didn't like, personal feelings, character drama, all that jazz, and then there will be some mechanical things we do at the end. But Occam and Kristie, those episodes, what'd you think?
That was awesome.
Wow, that was so good.
Everything I hoped it would be.
So good. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yes, I am so glad that y'all gave me the opportunity to, expose Tuskman for being a Nazi sympathizer.
Was that something you had planned?
Not at all. Well, we had talked about it in our session 0. We said, Tuskman is a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. Well, as soon as it's funny because I try not to think about it so much as I'm doing it, but as soon as you started describing that guy, I immediately was like, that's not Theodore Tussman, is it? Is it? And as soon as you're like, Theodore the Tussler Tussman, I was like, no! Trauma. That's all I could think of. I was like, this is awful. Oh, man. Poor Gwen.
Yeah, that was
I love it, though.
That was a very traumatic episode for Gwen, for sure. Seeing her manipulative and abusive ex-boyfriend and his equally manipulative and abusive daddy.
Which one is scarier? We don't know. Both.
Yeah, they're both not good.
Probably Tussler.
Yeah. And the relationship between her and Dr. Fusion is...
I know.
The way I saw it near the end made me really... it's still rocky. By no means is it good. But all I could picture was, like, a brother and sister relationship. Where they are inadvertently always going to be at each other's throats.
I could see that.
Occam, how do you think Dr. Fusion views their relationship?
I think Dr. Fusion does not care about Geiger Gwen at all right now. Like, she may think she has this view of how he feels about her, doesn't even give her a second thought.
That's so fair. Gwen is just overthinking it. She's just like, no, he feels bad. He doesn't feel bad.
Feels nothing.
He doesn't care. He's like,
man of logic and reason and nuclear fission.
That's right.
Yeah, so listeners, this little episode 8 and 9 I did not have planned to happen. But when we recorded episode 4, Occam had just this one little line that Dr. Fusion said to Geiger Gwen. It was like, when he pulled her in close, he was like, when we get back, you're going to explain why you were in my lab. And then I was like, oh, okay, we got to explore that a little bit. And thus, these episodes.
I'm so happy
it's
he
the
did
best.
too, because
so good.
Epic. I love it.
Yeah,
awesome episodes.
These were very good episodes. Pulling in some new mechanics that we haven't seen, but also really just exploring a cool character dynamic and just characters. Because that has been my biggest regret so far, is that I haven't given y'all enough opportunities to let the light shine on your characters. Like, it's been real combat heavy. The first 3 episodes were super combat heavy. But all these characters are so rich that I really just want to explore your characters more and just give y'all the time to do that.
Well, and these episodes were the perfect balance of combat and roleplay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, and our roleplay was such that we really didn't have to say a whole lot. Mm-hmm. It was just whatever 1 or 2 lines we had to each other set the mood. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, we know exactly how they feel towards each other.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, and what did y'all think of the combat mechanics? Because this was y'all's first time to play with that.
I really liked it. I really like it.
Yeah.
It makes me more excited to play the Avatar Legends.
Yes, yeah, that combat system is taken wholesale from Avatar Legends, the RPG, which is just a fantastic product. But yeah, the way they handle combat in that game is so nice. And I think really good.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I like the most about it is that we all kind of make the decision at one time what we're planning on doing. And so that really no one knows what the other people are going to do. You don't do what you're going to do based off what they're doing.
Sure.
And it's very real life in that aspect. Like, you don't know what the other person's going to do until it happens.
Yeah.
In a weird way, it reminds me of the X-Wing Miniatures game.
Yeah.
Because you set your dials and your motion stuff before, all of you set it down, face down, and then you go in order and just do it. It's kind of interesting. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, because with the X-Wing Miniatures game, I'm like, I want my X-Wing to do a hard right, but your TIE Fighter goes before me, and somehow your TIE fighter ends up right where I was going to go, and so my X-wing crashes into that, and it's bad news bears. Yeah, I do like, because you can kind of predict what they're going to do. It's like, oh, like they're real angry, so he's probably going to advance and attack me. So like you can use role-playing and narrative cues to figure out what to do, but even still, you're still taking a risk. It's like, I don't know, that's an added level of excitement, I think. It's like meta excitement about the combat.
Yeah, and the pressure move in advance and attack might be my favorite thing in this whole system. Because
really
trying to predict what they're going to do for next round and being like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's really good. I like it a lot. It feels a lot more tactical than a lot of other combat systems.
Yes, yeah. And it's tactical and it's easy. You have 3 options. And so combat flows so well and so quick with this system, I feel.
Yeah, it is.
I really wish
it didn't hold up the storytelling at all.
Exactly.
It was all part of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I like it. I really like the combat system.
Yeah.
I kick myself because we didn't use it in the first 3 episodes, because I think that would have made the first 3 episodes even better. But I like it. I'm glad we're using it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, any other thoughts about this session?
I will say, I am by no means an expert or someone that would say that she knows a whole lot about it. But having this episode be kind of like a trigger issue, these last 2 episodes, I just do want to throw out there that if you're having a hard time, or if you've been in an abusive relationship or something like that, survive, seek help, do what you gotta do, and just, I don't know how to put it properly, but all I'm saying is that these episodes are intense, so if you get to the end of it and you think it's hurting you in any shape or form, just go to your safe place.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm playing the character, and you hear me giggling the whole time. That is pure stress on my part, because I want to play it properly, and I want to make sure that character is properly brought to life. Yeah. And so my heart hurts for her the whole time, and I just want everybody to know that I am in no way, shape, or form telling you that this is a happy moment for Geiger Gwen. It's just me trying to artfully and tactfully take care of this in a way that's real, but also okay.
Yeah. Well said.
Just throwing that out there.
Put some trigger warnings at the beginning of the session, of the issue.
Yeah. And with playing with this character that has this abusive relationship in her past, if it ever is too much for you, Kristie, let me know. I mean, we can interrupt the flow of the episode and decide how we want to rework it so it's not as triggering for you or triggering for audience. Because, I mean, it's a bad relationship, and it needs to affect the character, but I don't want it to affect you as the player. And that goes for anybody.
Right, and which I appreciate, which everybody who's playing any of these kind of games should know that their group should be openly communicative and talk about it, and everybody should be on the same page. If you're playing a game where you ever feel pressured to do something that you don't want to do, get out of that game. These are not the people that do that to me. I love this group.
Aww.
And
well, we love you.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm great. I'm just kidding.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right. Well, anything else before we get to the mechanics of this?
I want to say Dr. Fusion has already evolved a lot from what I originally planned. A lot because of the way I've decided to play him, like in combat and stuff. He's definitely more of I expected to be more of like a like physical combat kind of like outside of combat, be the investigator, the scientist, the smart guy. But in combat, I expected to just be like punching stuff with my fusion fist, and I find myself not punching things as often as I expected. I find myself playing more like a speedster.
Said the dude that just punched a hole in a nuclear plant. I don't punch things.
But I'm not punching people as much as I expected.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
These 2 sessions, I didn't punch a single person. I punched a boat, a pillar, and a wall.
And a building.
Yep. Yeah, and going off of that, I will throw out there that this is one of the first characters I've played where she wants to be physical and punch a whole lot of things, but physically she can't do a whole lot. She's got to use her head. And I'm not saying I'm not a smart person, but tactically speaking, it takes a lot for me to work around what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, sure.
So it takes me a minute to be like, she would probably know exactly what to do in this moment. Yeah. Do I? No. So.
But yeah, I feel like I've been playing him more as a speedster, which is interesting, and I kind of like it, actually. A tech-based speedster is kind of cool. And then also, his radioactivity powers are a lot more unstable and random than I expected, which is also, it makes sense, and it's kind of cool.
I love it, though. It makes sense.
Yeah, the jump start of energy and the X-ray imaging that we explored this session. I mean, those were
so
interesting
zero
powers.
Idea I could ever think about doing that. I know. Yeah, the power surge thing, I feel like he doesn't even know what he did. It just happened.
Sure.
It was an instinctual thing. I'm going to help you. I don't know how.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, So, I don't know. But we'll see how that goes.
But I also think it's interesting because, the first time you use this power is on somebody who also has nuclear reactive powers and is connected to the event that brought you your powers. So, I don't know. Point. It's almost like a Wonder Twins moment or something.
It totally was.
That's interesting. Yeah,
your powers, cool. Your powers are work on each other almost. I'm trying to think of other superheroes that do that.
They have a bond that they really don't want to explore, but it's there.
It could be interesting. We could definitely roll and play into that some. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Truth.
I like it. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's answer some questions. So, into the session. And this is on your special moves tab if you want to look at it. At the end of the session, go around the table, the virtual table. Each player can answer one or more of the following questions. Which character made you feel like a welcome member of the team? How have you grown detached from the team? What dangerous threat or complicated problem did you overcome? And the last one is, did you fulfill one of your drive book goals? So who would like to answer one of those questions first?
I will, because it's relatively easy for me. The how have you grown or no, not that one, sorry. What dangerous threat or complicated problem did you overcome? Her immediate interaction with her traumatic past, basically. So the fact that she made it through that without becoming a blubbering mess on the floor, win. Which means she gets to mark an achievement, and that is full achievement.
Is it really?
So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I get an advancement.
Yeah, so go to your advancement options. Have I updated these yet? I sure haven't. I'm going to send you the real achievement or
okay, so I won't mess with that yet then.
Yeah, let me go find that while Occam tells us what he's doing. Or sorry, what they're doing. I'm sorry, Occam.
You're fine. I understand. It takes time.
Also, I called you dude earlier when I said
I don't care.
I'll do one better, my dude.
Dude is
was that okay
neutral for me? It's fine. For me personally, I find dude gender neutral. Personally, okay. I understand people that don't, and I won't use it for people that don't. But for me, it's fine. I still find myself referring to myself as a man, so it's weird. I get it. So yeah. Well, I haven't grown detached from the team, but I also don't feel like I've been made to feel like a welcome member of the team necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Because this session, there was a lot of bond burning.
Yeah.
There really
sorry
was.
about that.
It's fine. I get it. I don't know. I don't know if any of these I can answer.
Yeah, have you... let's look at your drive book real quick.
I haven't unlocked it unless... Like, not in roleplay, so... I haven't unlocked it in roleplay because, technically, I have to start a project to change the world, and with my previous project exploded, I'd have to have downtime at home to do so, I think.
I see. Now, you did make a point earlier on. I think you were arguing that you should have unlocked this with like what you were working on at the university.
The thing is, it wasn't during roleplay, and it would have been like I unlocked it before even starting playing. So I get that that it wouldn't make sense for me to have it unlocked immediately. Okay. I feel like you should have to work towards it. So I can do some other project would be what I do. I figure after that event, I haven't really been able to get my funding and stuff going again all that much because I've been busy being a vigilante with superpowers. So I think that's probably,
So, I mean, we could do what dangerous threat or complicated problem did you overcome? Or you did not... Oh, wait, maybe you did burn a bond with Geiger Gwen. You certainly weren't burning... You weren't burning as many as she was burning on you. So
I burnt like 3 or 4 this episode alone.
I know.
So
I burnt
these
one.
last 2 episodes, I should say.
Yeah, I only burned one.
You could say you're feeling detached from the team because Geiger Gwen's actions, but I mean, you make that choice. What do you think?
I guess a complicated problem would have been trying to get as much information out of that lab before blowing it up, and getting away with a canister of the whatever juice, and getting away with the image of the blueprint would be solving that problem by getting as much information as I could.
Okay. So you want to mark an achievement?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and mark an achievement. How many achievement do you have now?
2.
All right. 2. Well, that is the end of the session move. Occam and Kristie, thank you so much for recording these very dope episodes.
Yes.
I'm excited for y'all to get back to Tunisia and see what's been going on with the other half of your team.
As am I.
It'll be fun.
I have no idea what's going on over there.
Yeah. I know. All right. Well, listeners, we'll see you next time, and thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.